From WFRV TV, Local 5, serving Northeast Wisconsin, including Green Bay, Fox Cities, and the Lakeshore. This is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning. Welcome to Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. There has been an increase in food insecurity in Winnebago County, and many people depend on the Oshkosh Area Community Pantry to help get food onto the table. And joining us this morning from the Oshkosh Area Community Pantry, the Executive Director, Ryan Rasmussen, and Program Manager, Elizabeth Einert. And to both of you, good morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
Give me a little background on the food pantry. How did it start, and how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so the Oshkosh Area Community Pantry has been serving our community members since 1989. It actually started as a collaboration of a variety of different churches in town. And they all kind of banded together and they created their own pantry in the bottom, in the basement of one of the churches. And after a number of time had gone by, obviously some volunteers were starting to age. They kind of felt like in time they should kind of band together and offer a full nonprofit service. And so that happened in the early 2000s, actually in 2008. And from there we moved into the Jackson Street location inside the St. Vincent de Paul building. So we share a space with them, and we officially became the Oshkosh Area Community Pantry.
And where are you now compared to where you started on that first day?
Yeah, we are leaps and bounds ahead, and just in technology, in the total number of guests that we're seeing, we've really just been able to take our operations and really just kind of every single year expand them and do some really cool things.
Mm-hmm. Elizabeth, where are you guys located?
We are located at 2551 Jackson Street in Oshkosh. It's the same building at St. Vincent de Paul. We rent the space from them.
Okay, okay. Recently you sent a request out to the community for some help. I take it you've been seeing a pretty sizable increase in the need. Did you not have like more than 700 families in the beginning of this year?
Yeah.
What's the need look like? Where are you headed?
Yeah, has grown and continues to grow on us. Since January, we've had over 700 new registrants. And see, these are brand new families that have never utilized our services before. And that's about 103% increase from what we saw last year. And so the need has just really gone through the roof. Overall, just usage of the pantry has gone up 45% over last year. Yeah, so the need is definitely great. And quite honestly, we only see that need continue to keep growing. As I mentioned, over 700 families since January. A month, we're seeing close to 100 to 150 new families every month that are coming in to utilize our services.
Is a lot of this increase due to the benefit, food share benefit rollbacks after COVID?
Yeah, I think that had a really big play on it when they rolled back food share benefits. As an example, a senior that was on a fixed income was generally getting anywhere from $230 to $250 in food share benefits. With the rollback, that went to $20 now. And so when you have to try to think about where you're going to budget $200, you really have to get creative in how you're going to find different avenues. So that's really why we're there, to make sure that we can help offset those grocery costs.
Give me an idea of both of your roles. What do you specifically do?
Yeah,
there?
so I'm the program manager, so I'm in charge of all internal and external programming, as well as marketing, social media, and outreach. So I work a lot with the community.
And what's the boss do?
Well, the team likes to say that I'm the one that makes sure that the light stays on. I'm the money guy, but really, we've got just the best team. There's 4 of us, so there's 2 right here. There's 2 more back at the shop right now.
Stunning figure that we got from your office, your website. In Winnebago County, more than 1 in 3 families is at or just above the federal poverty level.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you, or have you seen this coming?
Well, I think it's always surprising when you see a stat that looks like that. I think for us, it's kind of a scary stat. When you think about over a quarter of our residents right in Winnebago County are facing food insecurity. But when you look at the federal poverty level, when we look at that, that amount of money is not a lot of money for folks. And so generally at 200% of the FPL, that's still only $36,000, $37,000 a year that somebody's making. So the fact that over 35% of our county members are facing that, it's a rough stat.
And you know, you talked about when the rollbacks happened, people went from hundreds of dollars down to $20. What do you do with $20? How do you make the rest of it up, or don't you?
Yeah, I don't think you do. I think it's tough.
Yeah, I think we see the need growing more for us because people don't know where else to turn. They're utilizing a lot of their community resources, their pantries, their communities wrapping around them, but there's only so much you can do with such a drastic decrease.
So during COVID, the people who were getting, say, $235, they could perhaps go to a grocery store, but now they can't, and now they have to turn to you.
Yeah, well, and you talk about the fact that inflation and the cost of everything is through the roof right now. It's skyrocketing. Even when I go to the grocery store, I mean, I can't walk out with a couple of bags for less than $100, right?
Exactly.
And so when you think about folks that are on food share, that really does a lot of damage, and it really does make people have to make choices. And what we don't want to have to do is make sure that those people don't use food and don't have the access to food that they're supposed to have.
We continue our conversation with the Oshkosh Area Food Pantry when we come back, so please stay right there. We are back now with Ryan Rasmussen and Elizabeth Aynard of the Oshkosh Area Community Food Pantry. Your food pantry a bit different the way it is set up than most food pantries, kind of like a grocery store. Talk to us about what you call the open choice guest shopping.
Yeah, we truly love our grocery store style, mostly because the dignity of our guests is so important. And so other than a traditional food pantry, which generally means when you get food donations and it all goes in a preloaded box of food and then handed to the guest, we don't subscribe to that thinking. We are set up just like a grocery store. We believe in the power of choice, and we truly believe that we don't know what's good for families and what they should or shouldn't have. So being able to come to our pantry, select the items that are best for their and their families, is really at the core of what we believe. And through that, we believe our guests have some sort of dignity and have a sense of self-worth by coming and being able to shop at it just like any other grocery store.
Is there a cutoff point? How much can a person get when they shop?
Yeah, so we have limits on items.
Okay.
So based on specific categories maybe, or specific items, there'll be a limit in place on that item. Some of our items, like produce in the summer, we have a lot of usually. So we're able to do no limit on that to ensure families get as much as they can utilize.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ryan, you mentioned a couple of times, you mentioned dignity, you mentioned respect. I take it that that's very important to you and your organization, because people probably feel, not badly, but they'd rather be someplace else.
Yeah, exactly right. And unfortunately, that's the stereotype of having to use a pantry, right? And so that's one of the barriers that we want to try to break down with the services that we offer. Showing people kindness, showing people respect, really kind of making a community gathering place, where folks are able to come, they can interact with other guests, they can shop, they can grab the necessary foods that they need, and not have to feel like they're utilizing a service, right? Because nobody wants to feel like that. And so for us, that's the barrier, that's the stigma that we're trying to break, and really making sure that folks have the necessary foods that they need.
And the people you help, the people who come to see you, what are you hearing from them? What kind of comments do you get from them?
I mean, we hear everything from we just found you recently to we've been coming and shopping with you for years. The families we serve come from so many different walks of life. They are old, they are young. We have high school students that come in to utilize the pantry. We have seniors in their late 70s, early 80s coming in to utilize the pantry. So really just a wealth of different cultures, different people, different backgrounds.
Is the aim here for this service to be temporary?
That's always the goal, right? I mean, the goal is really to be able to get folks in, get the necessary foods that they need, and hopefully be able to find some self-sustaining pieces. That's always the goal for us. But truly, we always like to say food insecurity isn't pigeonholed to somebody or some situation. It can happen to anybody at any time. One of the best examples we always like to use is, you might be a 2-income household and all of a sudden go down to a 1-income household. You could put yourself in a food insecure situation. And so because of that, those are exactly the types of people that we want to be able to help, because they're the ones that are going to come in, they're going to get the necessary goods that they need, and maybe in a few months they'll be off the program.
And Elizabeth mentioned different cultures.
Yeah.
That's something new also.
Yeah.
In the old days, it used to be you come in, you take what we give you, and you go home.
Yeah.
Now you're catering to cultures, and we have many different cultures
Right.
here in this area.
And I think that's where the open choice comes into play, right? So depending on the family and their needs, I don't know all of the cultures and what each household, even within my own culture,
Right.
may want. But by being able to give people the choice to choose what they want, we don't have to guess. They get to choose.
There are people out there who are maybe watching who would like your service, who know they need your service. They're too proud to ask for this service.
Yeah.
What do you say to those people?
I definitely say, come on in, give us a call, give us a shot. Let us prove to you that we are more than just a pantry, right? Let us prove to you that our shopping experience is like no other shopping experience or no other pantry that you will ever experience. Nobody should ever have to feel bad for asking for help. It can happen to anybody at any time. We're here to help. We want to make sure that we help.
You're talking like a grocery store manager. I mean, really, like,
Really,
like,
though.
give us a shot. Give us your business.
Yeah, exactly
Yes.
right. I mean, part of that, I spent a career in the food and beverage industry, so I've got a lot of that behind me as well, and truly having that hospitality background, I think, serves us all well here. You have a hospitality background as well, which really helps.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, again, it's all about just being with the people and interacting and being at their level, and really just having some engagement with them, just to make sure that they're comfortable while they're there.
Much more with the Oshkosh Area Food Pantry when we come back, so please stay with us. Back now with Ryan Rasmussen and Elizabeth Aynard of the Oshkosh Area Community Food Pantry. You're more than just a food pantry. You've got some programs to help your clients to meet their needs. Tell us about the Kids Corner.
Yeah, the Kids Corner is one of my favorite areas of the pantry. It is a small section of our store that we have put different foods in by food group for the children to come in and shop and make their own choices, just like the adults that they're shopping with would. So they come in, they get a bag, we walk through the food groups, we talk about why they're important, we do some educational things with them, we'll bring partners in, and then we have a lending library in there, some coloring pages. And the way I look at it is it's really just an opportunity for the children and the adult that they're with to have a break from each other while they're shopping. You see it so many times in a grocery store where maybe an adult and a child may need a break from each other. This really gives them that opportunity, and it allows the adult to start shopping the produce. That's right when you walk in, while the child is kind of doing their own thing.
Is the Kids Corner different than the school pantry program?
Yes, so that is one of our other programs.
Okay.
Yep. The school pantry program is a partnership with the Oshkosh Area School District and their alternative learning environments, where we send fresh fruit and easy to eat snacks to 24 schools and learning environments in Oshkosh.
Some of your clients, and this is something different too from the old days, they may require special dietary items that you provide. And this is part of your Food for Life program.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, so our Food for Life program is a diabetic-friendly staple box that we work with Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin on a partnership with. And we provide a diabetic-friendly staple box to individuals requiring that diet on a monthly basis.
Are people surprised when they come in and realize they can have that?
Yes.
A diabetic is surprised to go, really?
Yeah.
I don't have to just take whatever you give me?
Right, yeah, and it is a box model, so it is a little different than our typical choice experience, but it is an extra thing that they can choose. So they get the choice shopping experience, then they also will get those dry good items in that separate box when they get through checkout.
And you're doing more than food. What other items are you offering?
Yeah, so we do hygiene items. Obviously, are always essential as well. So any of your toiletry items or feminine care products. We'll also have a variety of baby essentials. So we'll get baby formula in. Sometimes we'll get some other fun things that decide to come through the door that aren't always the easiest for us. But some paper plates and those types of things sometimes come our way. Which are always fun. But yeah, we've got a variety of other things that we generally will get in as well. Not our area of focus. Obviously, we want to make sure that we have food first. But if any of those items come in, our guests also enjoy them a lot as well.
Why are you both doing what you're doing? I take it the way you're talking to me, this is not just a job.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's really not. So I actually came to the Oshkosh Area Community Pantry when I was a junior in college for a class I was in. And I volunteered there for a semester. And when I graduated, I felt lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I looked back and I was like, I really would love to work at a place like that and make a difference in my community. And sure enough, a month later, they were hiring. So
Really?
kind of put that one into the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I was born and raised in Oshkosh. I'm a lifelong resident there. As I mentioned before, I've been in the food and beverage hospitality side my entire career. But I had always wanted to get into the nonprofit sector, and I just never really had that right fit or that right opportunity to be able to do it. And a year and a half ago, when this position became available, I jumped on it right away, and I am so glad and so grateful that I did. It is such a nice mix for me. Brings in my food love and my love of giving back to people. So
We are back to wrap up in a moment, so please stay with us. Back now with Ryan Rasmussen and Elizabeth Aynard of the Oshkosh Area Community Food Pantry. People have been watching us for nearly a half an hour now, and they see all these wonderful services beside food that you provide, and they would like to take advantage. How do they do that? How do they find you?
yeah, first and foremost, just go to our website, oacptoday.org. You can find a variety of information there, not only about where we're located, how to get a hold of us, but also if you are interested in being a volunteer, being interested in a donor of money or food, all of that information can be found right on our website.
All right, now Elizabeth mentioned that you started because you volunteered as a student. So I take it your facility doesn't operate without volunteers.
No.
How many do you have? How long do they work? How important are they to your organization?
Yeah. So we are 99% volunteer
Really?
operated. Yes, we have 4 paid staff that run, the ship, but we can't even say that we run the ship because it's the volunteers who really do. And without them, we would not be able to be open. We have volunteers that put in anywhere from an hour every couple of months to 40 hours a week. We have dedicated volunteers that have been there for 12, 13 years, and we have volunteers that are just walking through the doors today for their first shift.
So how many do you have? Any guesstimate?
Yeah, roughly it takes about 60 to 80 volunteers a week in order for us to be able to offer all the services that we do.
So if somebody wants to help volunteer.
Please, we are always looking for additional volunteers. So if you're out there and thinking, hey, what else could I be doing on my day, feel free to look us up. We actually think our service in being able to get a volunteer registered is really simple. Everything that we have is all online. It's all virtual. You can schedule your own shifts. So that way, if you only want to be there for 1 hour a day, you can just schedule yourself that way.
All right, there are people out there who might not necessarily need your help, but they would like to help.
Yes.
Donations.
Yes.
Monetary, is that the best way to go?
Yes.
How do you go? What is the best?
For us, monetary donations are always the easiest. We've got a really great community and a lot of community support in getting a lot of those pantry staple items, center store items, canned goods, those types of things. But money really allows us to be able to buy all of the things that we generally don't see through community giving. And so things like our produce department, things like our meat department are some areas where we generally don't see a lot of those individual donations come in, so we end up spending money in order to make sure that we can fulfill those departments.
Yeah, so where is your food coming from? Where are you buying this stuff?
Yeah.
The meats, the vegetables.
Yeah, most of it is through some really great partnerships. Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin is one. We generally will get about 80% of our overall food from there. Another 10 to 15% comes from a government program called TFAP, or the Emergency Food and Assistance Program. Otherwise, the rest of it is just from general donations that come from the community. But we generally are spending quite a significant amount of money and working directly with grocers and some community partners to bring in those funds, or to bring in those foods with those funds.
What do you need the most of? You always hear the old story about, we need peanut butter or diapers. What's the need out there now?
Yeah.
With the growing need that we're seeing, it's really everything. When I first started, that conversation might have looked a little different, but because our numbers have now doubled since when I first started working here, everything. We need everything. I'm talking center store things, peanut butters, the jellies, the canned vegetables, the canned fruits, pasta sauce, really everything. We're making do with what we have and what we have access to, but really just the basics are the things that we're not able to get on a consistent basis anymore.
And do you offer any advice to people? Somebody may come in and go, hey, that looks good, I'd like to do that. How do you make it?
Yeah, absolutely. Elizabeth, another great program that she has is kind of our recipe meal kits. And so we'll
Really?
put some of those items together. Elizabeth will type up a recipe and have it there. And all you got to do is take it home and cook it.
Right now, we talked about how people who may need help, how they can find you. What are the parameters? What are the qualifications? You know, how much can you get? What circumstances, employment circumstances, do you have to have?
Yeah, absolutely. So we service southern Winnebago County, and
Okay.
so from Neenah, Menasha down to Fond du Lac, and then all of the rurals in between. And so really a pretty wide net, but really there's only two things that we need. First is just identification of the person and of the kiddos in the household. And that could be state ID, could be driver's license, passport, anything like that. But then also proof of address. And so that could be a piece of mail with your name and address on it, or a utility bill or anything that's on your phone that's got your name and address on it. There are no disqualifiers for our program. It does not matter income thresholds. Again, we truly believe that food insecurity can affect anybody at any time. And so there are no disqualifiers for any of our guests. If you self-identify and walk through our door needing help, we're going to get you the help you need.
Oshkosh Community Pantry. Elizabeth, Ryan, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Much appreciated. And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this program, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7:30. Until then, have a great day.